It is justified to punish a person for his mistake, but in the olden days, such dreadful punishments were given that just hearing them would make our soul tremble. The Middle Ages are considered to be the most dreadful period in human history. In this period, such dreadful methods were invented to punish the enemies or lawbreakers that just hearing about them would make your soul tremble. Today in the video, we will tell you about the 20 most dreadful and mind-blowing punishments in history given across the world, but those with a weak heart should watch this video carefully, friends. Before starting the video, give a small like and subscribe to the channel. Let's begin. Number 20. Pier of Anguish. This deadly weapon that looks like a spittle is called the chalk pier. It started in France in 1626 when a thief entered the house of a couple to steal, but when the thief did not find anything in the house, he killed the couple with this weapon, after which the thief was caught, and when the king came to know about this deadly weapon, he first punished the thief with this weapon, and later it was included in the list of punishments. This weapon was used on women who aborted children, liars, and homosexuals. This pointed weapon grew in all 4 parts when the screw attached to it was turned. This weapon was inserted into the mouth of liars, vagina of women who aborted, and anus of homosexuals, and its screw was turned. As the screw turned, it grew bigger, due to which the victim suffered unbearable pain. Then his skin would tear and bones would break, and finally, the victim would die. Number 19. Lynchy. This punishment was given in China in the 9th century, in which the criminal was tied at one place, and then a man used to make cuts on the body of that person with a blade. It is said that those cuts were very small. That is why this punishment is also called 1,000 cuts. In this, the criminal used to suffer a lot, and later he used to die. However, later this punishment was also given in Vietnam and Korea. Number 18. Auto de fe. In the 16th century, a priest of the Catholic Church named Justo Takayama changed many rules in Christianity, and he used to tell people to follow the new rules instead of the old rules. Now it is said that some people followed the new rules, but those who followed the old rules were punished by this priest. First of all, those people were brought in front of the crowd and tied to a pillar. After that, they were beaten with a coal rod, and later a fire was lit near their feet. Now it is said that this fire burned very dimly, due to which the person had to suffer for a long time, and later he died. All this was done in front of the crowd so that people start following the new rules. Number 17. Breast Reaper. Breast Reaper was a weapon made of iron, which was used only on women. If a woman was found to be having an illicit relationship with another man, or if such an allegation was proved against her, then she was punished through breast reaper. The woman was punished in which the breast reaper was pressed hard on the breast of the woman. However, the brutality was not limited to this. This weapon, like a tong, was first heated on fire. During this punishment, the breast of the victim was completely pulled out. Most of the women died in this punishment. The life of those who survived was worse than death. Number 16. Immurement. In this punishment, nothing is done to the criminal. Rather, he is tied up tightly in a cellar, and neither is he given any food or water, nor does he see any human being. Now, due to being alone, the criminal becomes mad, and it is said that he dies after several weeks. Number 15. Impalement. The 15th century Prince Balad III was very cruel. He used to give such punishment in which the criminals were tied on a pointed pole. Then slowly the person would come down, and the tip of the pole would go on entering his body. The thickness of the pole was so much that anyone would shudder on seeing it. The person who was given this punishment was forced to sit on the sharp pole. The pole would slowly come out, ripping his body. The criminals were made to sit on the pole in such a way that the pointed part of the pole would pass through the body and stop once at the chin. Then slowly the chin would be cut. Passing through the bone was done so that the criminal had to suffer for a longer time. It used to take 3 to 4 days for a person to die. It is said that Balad had given this punishment to 2 to 3 lakh people during his reign. Balad was so cruel that he enjoyed watching this while eating food. Just imagine to what extent barbarism was at its peak in those times. Number 14. Skepticism at the bottom. It was 358 BC. A king named Jar II ruled Iran. A soldier of his army had killed the king's brother. That is why the king ordered that the soldier should be given the harshest punishment. Later, someone from the royal court found a new way to punish him. First, the soldier was fed milk and honey, and later he was locked in a coffin, but his head, hands, and feet were kept outside, and honey and milk were poured on them as well. After that, the soldier was left in the forest in this condition. Now, because of the milk and honey, ants and insects started climbing on the body of the soldier, and they started eating the body of the soldier along with the milk and honey. Now, you can yourself understand how much pain he must have suffered in this. It is said that the soldier remained alive for several days, and later died. Number 13. Flying. In 850 BC, there lived a king named Assur-Sirpal II. He used to punish criminals in many ways. One of those punishments was flying. The king used to keep some special people with him who used to skin the criminals. Those special people of the king were trained so that when they skin the criminal, they should do it in such a way that the criminal does not die quickly, and he himself sees his body skin being peeled off. After that, the criminal's skin was hung at the crossroads of the city so that people see it and never think about the crime. Number 12. Frock. This punishment was started in America, in which an iron device was tied on the neck of the criminal. This device was pointed from both sides, due to which the criminal could neither move his head up and down, nor right or left. Every time he tried to lower his neck, the upper part would enter the neck, and the lower part would enter the chest. He would not be able to eat or sleep, and would die within no time. Number 11. Death by sawing. In this punishment, society hangs in the middle of the crossroads. The victim's legs were tied to a pole in the middle, and he was hung upside down. He was hung upside down so that the blood supply to his brain would continue, and he would remain alive for a long time and could see his death with his own eyes. After this, the game of death would start, and then two people would take a big saw and start cutting slowly from between his legs. The cutting was done slowly so that he would have to bear the pain for a long time. Some criminals were cut into two pieces while some were left after cutting them in half. This punishment was given to those people in Europe who were caught for theft, assault, riots, rape, or any other big crime. Number 10. Spanish donkey. In 1860, when the Civil War was going on in America, the Union Guards of America used to give this punishment to the prisoners to make them reveal their truth. In this, a thick stick was made triangular, and then a nail was placed on that stick, and after making the man sit on it, a weight was tied to his feet. Now, because of the weight, the nail would enter the body of that man, due to which it is said that the man would reveal the truth very quickly, but the person who was given this punishment was not able to stand on his feet for the rest of his life. That is why many prisoners would reveal the truth just by seeing this punishment. Number 9. The Bran Bull. There was a time in ancient Greece when people would think 1,000 times before committing a crime, because they knew that they would get a very horrific punishment for the crimes committed by them. But this method of giving punishment in Greece is as dangerous as it is heartwarming. In this punishment, there was a very big brass object which was placed on the top, i.e., it used to open from its back. The criminal was caught and put inside this bull, and then fire was set from below. Now you can understand what was the condition of that person inside, and when that person screamed, there was some such device in the mouth of this bull that his screams sounded like the sound coming from a musical instrument. Some fragrant perfume was used to prevent the smoke coming out of the burning man from stinking, so that the smoke coming out from there remains fragrant. When the person who discovered it represented it in front of the king, he thought that he would get a reward from the king, but the king first put it inside that bull. It was also said that the one who got it made and the one who made it both met their end inside this bull. Number 8. Man-catcher. It was also used in wars till the 18th century. This catcher was made of iron and had nails on its round wheel. It was made very long so that it could be put around the neck of the enemy and he could be thrown down from the horse. However, it does not seem that any man would survive after putting it around the neck. However, the man-catcher is still used in China and Japan to catch criminals, but now there are no nails on its round wheel. Number 7. Thumbscrew. This punishment was given to those criminals who did not confess their crime. This punishment started in the 15th century and continued till the 18th century. In this punishment, the fingers and thumb of the criminal were fitted inside the thumbscrew and tightened. The criminal had to suffer so much pain in this. It used to happen that he could only stand for 1 or 2 minutes and confess his crime, but later the fingers of that criminal became useless for life. Number 6. Iron chair torture. The criminals who did not confess their crime were made to sit on this chair made with the help of 1,500 kilograms as punishment, and as soon as he sat, all the nails entered the body of that person. After this, the person had to bear this pain until he died. Friends, this punishment was started to make the criminal reveal the truth, in which if the person did not open his mouth after the torture of nails, then burning coals were kept under the chair, the result of which was that as the nails in the chair got hot, the body of the person also started getting cooked due to those hot nails. If a person was innocent, then he was released. Number 5. Coffin torture. This was called coffin torture. If you remember, you must have seen this kind of punishment in some Hollywood movie. In this, the victim was imprisoned in a cage so that he could not move from his place. After this, the cage was hung on a tree. This kind of punishment was given for serious crimes, due to which the victim was either eaten by man-eating animals or he became prey to birds. Number 4. Burying alive. This punishment was most common in European countries in the 15th century. In this, criminals were locked alive in cuffs, and the cuffs were buried in a cave or underground. Number 3. Ruck killing. In this punishment, the person is made to lie down on a line. Both his hands and legs are tied with separate ropes. Then the rope is pulled until his hands and legs are completely separated. Number 2. Rat killer. This punishment started in Rome in the 17th century. It was a punishment in which rats were used in a very dangerous way. In this, the criminal was made to lie on a bench, and his hands and legs were tied, and then an iron cage was placed on his stomach. A rat was present in that iron cage, and then a vessel of burning fire was placed on the cage, due to which the cage would heat up, and the rat would feel the heat. In such a situation, the rat would start climbing down the man's body to escape from the cage. Number 1. The breaking wheel. The breaking wheel is also known as the Catherine wheel. The victim did not survive this, but it would kill him so painfully that the soul of the onlookers would tremble. The victim was tied to the wheel and hit with a hammer until the bones of his body broke. Then he was left to die. Sometimes the victim was placed on a high wheel so that the birds could eat the person alive with broken hands and legs. It is also said that those who were shown mercy were hit with a hammer on their chest and stomach, although the victim was not spared alive under any circumstances. Friends, what is your opinion about all these punishments? Tell us by commenting. It is good that we are not in that era. Tell us what you think about this also by commenting. If you liked today's video even a little bit, then like the video,